Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You've got a for a rep. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of Outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here in our Concord, North Carolina studios. Aaron Evernham is on special assignment, so we have from our Lethal Chassis studios our other co-hosts that we get to talk to on a regular basis. Ashley Stremme joins us. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
Oh, Steve, I'm great. Pennsylvania weather is finally cooperating, but it's been a heck of a season with Mother Nature up here.
My gosh. We're going to talk about this a lot over the course of the program, but just big picture stuff. You have a few people rolling into town this weekend for the Bob Weichert Memorial. How are things looking? Everything all tidied up there at the Speed Palace?
Honestly, it really is. 8th Street is got a new paved job, so the roadway in is beautiful. The facility is being cleaned up. 29, I believe it was, gallons of paint, or 5-gallon buckets of paint to paint the fence this week happened. So things are looking really mint at the Speed Palace.
Sounds good. We'll talk about that over the course of the program. Lucas Wolfe, one of our guests, going to join us, as well as Buddy Kofoid going to join us here on the program. Let's get into some of the race stories, race highlights over the course of the weekend, because fortunately it was a busy weekend of racing. World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Ashley, Friday night they were at Attica Raceway Park, and we just mentioned Buddy's going to join us. He's going to join us because he won the darned race.
That's right. His 4th career World of Outlaw win, his 2nd in that 83 car with Roth Motorsports. As you can see in the video here, he absolutely stalked Carson Macedo there to finally pick up the win on that last lap.
It was exciting stuff. I actually watched this one Friday night, and I was screaming at my television. Not even know who I was screaming for. I was just screaming because it was such a good race. So much fun, that's for sure. Buddy Kofoid over Carson Macedo, and how about Bill Baylog? A nice run, another nice run. This is no longer becoming a shock to see Bill Baylog run in the top 5. It's becoming the norm on a more regular basis, and I'm here for that, that's for sure. They moved east to Sharon Speedway on Saturday night, and David Gravel had a rough outing at Attica. He finished 11th, but he did not have a rough outing over at Sharon.
No, flag to flag. He showed them who David Gravel is. Solid run. His 95th World of Outlaw win, which ties him for 8th place with none other than the Sharon owner, Dave Blaney.
I think that was kind of cool that happened there. It was Gravel, Donnie Schatz, Carson Macedo. While they were busy there, the High Limit Racing Series was up at Outlaw Speedway on Thursday night. Brad Sweet got his 6th High Limit win of the season over Tyler Courtney and Zeb Wise. And then Ashley, on Friday night, they moved over to New Utica Rome Speedway.
Yes, and your winner, Rico Abreu, his first high limit win of the season. He also has a World of Outlaws win. But Steve, I'm surprised this is really the first time we're talking about Rico in capacity. I mean, I felt like that's all we talked about last year. So hopefully they can they finally got things figured out and are headed in the right direction now.
Fascinating you say that, Ashley. I was looking at his stats this year, and it is a roller coaster ride. I mean, it is 3rd, 12th, 2nd, 15th. It's like all over the map. And I agree with you. I think that I thought we'd talk more about him. Now, maybe they get into the summer stretch, they get the rhythm to him, but and maybe that win will help. Now, he went out to Sharon and finished 10th on Saturday night, but we'll see heading into Port Royal this weekend where Rico goes. But I could not agree with you anymore. Speaking of Central Pennsylvania, Williams Grove Speedway on Friday night, and Lucas Wolfe, look at him go, picking up the victory.
His 24th career win at Williams Grove, his first this year, but he also led flag to flag, but it was shortened because rain was in the area. Mother Nature, she's been hateful up here.
She really has, that's for sure. Lucas Wolfe got the win over Freddie Raymer. Troy Wagaman Jr. finished 3rd spot on the podium. last week, Aaron and I talked about this. We kind of sort of figured with the schedule changes with High Limit that Port Royal, the Speed Palace, was going to be the place to be, and it was the place to be. And in this rainy spring, Ashley, you guys had some sunshine up there.
We sure did, and he found his way to the win, his 5th of the season. 3 high limit races, 1 World of Outlaw race, and of course the win at Port Royal. It surprised me looking at this podium, though. Tyler Courtney, Spencer Basin, and then Austin Bishop. It makes me a little nervous for this weekend. I feel like Posse is not strong right at the moment, and so we'll really see what unfolds. I hate to say that as much as I am a Posse girl, but we are not strong at the moment.
Yeah, and I think you look at that World of Outlaw race at Lincoln a couple weeks back, and I'm a little concerned. I'd like to have seen Williams Grove, but right now, in the small sample size we have, I'm not really sure what to expect this weekend for the Weicker. Baps Motor Speedway, and well, this is kind of the same theme, Ashley. Jacob Allen, one of the high limit regulars, of course, there in town in his home area, picked up the win on Sunday evening.
Yes, also, he started second and he ended up leading flag to flag for the win. The cool thing about Jacob winning here is this was his first win as a 4-10 driver 8 years ago at Baps Motor Speedway. So I'm sure it was full circle for Jacob.
Really is. And again, that theme, Corey Eliason, another high limit driver, finished second. Now, Danny Dietrich, and Dietrich has struggled, seems to have figured out what was wrong with his car. He had a part problem on the rear end of the car. He finished in the 3rd spot. NARC King of the West Series, they had a pair of races this weekend. Tulare, California, Thunderbolt Speedway. It was Shane Gullebeck picking up his 16th career NARC win.
It was absolutely crazy. But the cool thing is him and rookie Caden Steele, they battled in traffic, and really cool to see a rookie up front running with him and finishing second there.
Yep, no doubt about it. And then they moved on Sunday to the Stockton Dirt Track. It was the salute to Leroy Van Connet, and Justin Sanders got his 2nd win of the season. That's his 3rd win at Stockton, and a big win for Justin Sanders.
Yes, and he was rounded out by Sean Becker and Shane Gullebeck.
Yes, so great stuff out on the West Coast. At Stockton, a little bit of a rough racetrack. They've been working on it out there. They redesigned it, and it's been a work in process, if you will. But I know that they'll get that all worked out. So good stuff from the West Coast. Other winners, Garrett Williamson picked up his career first 410 win at Knoxville. Florence Speedway, the Fast Series, it was Cole Duncan. Tyler Drucke picked up the win at Huset's. And Ashley, I absolutely love what happened at Tri-City Speedway over in the western part of your state in Franklin. The youngster, the kid, Bob Felmley picked up the win.
Yes, youngster, I love it. Not 16, 61. Yeah. That's right. The numbers are not transposed there. 61 years old. He sat out of racing up until his late 20 teens, and he returned in 2021. And he got it done this weekend.
Yes, he did. He returned to racing in 2021, as you mentioned. He had 1 win then. He had 2 wins last season, and he's back and running. So score 1 for the old dudes. Bob Felmley picked up the win at Tri-City, and we're in May. Who knows what the future can hold for him as we roll through this season. All right, we do know what the future holds for us. It's a visit with Buddy Kofoid. He joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline next.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation here, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline, picking up his first win of the season on Friday night at Attica Raceway Park, where the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars drives that Roth Racing number 83. Buddy Kofoid joins us. Hello, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate you guys having me on. And, like I said, finally happy to get that one out of the way.
I can imagine, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that finally part of it, but I do want to talk about that race. My gosh, you and Carson went to battle in lap traffic, Attica, a little unique Attica Raceway Park as well. Just describe a little bit how that race unfolded for you.
Yes, I feel like even before the feature, I felt just really comfortable, and I feel like we could make speed, wherever we were at any point in time throughout the whole day. And I feel like if you can just keep that up, you can roll that into, your next race, whether it's the heat or the dash or feature or whatever. I feel like that helps a lot, and we just had that all day. And Attica was a little different for sure. It wasn't dusty and as slick as it normally has been. I think they got new dirt, so it stayed relatively wet, but you could still, move around. And started pulling, was leading for a little bit early. Then Carson actually got me on a restart, and I figured I needed to start moving down as the top got dirty, and he just got a good run and got around me, and then just kind of got in line with him for a while. And I figured if we could get to traffic and if it stayed green, I'd have, that'd be my best chance. And I feel like our car has been really good in dirty air. And sure enough, we got close and just stayed with them. And I thought, the chance would come, but I didn't think it'd be at the last corner. So no, just had a really, really good car, and we've just been able to capitalize on that. And we did, right when we unloaded at Attica.
Buddy, you talk about obviously the confidence in your car and running Macedo, and you say your car's really good in dirty air. With that being said, do you just kind of follow along knowing that you've got the cards in your hand, and then, you hope that lap traffic falls its way? Or was that kind of, it just all just kind of happened at the right moment? Or do you play your cards and not show your hand when you have a good car?
Well, yeah, I would say yes to both. I could, we started, when I took the lead or started the race, actually, I should say, I was running the top, and then it got dirtier and dirtier, but not typical dirty or dusty how it normally gets, but, enough to where I needed to start moving down. And we, started on the top, and, eventually by midway through the race, when we were in lap traffic, we were about running in the middle. And then, towards the end of the race, I was just running the bottom basically. And he was about a lane higher than I was. And I kept showing a nose for, I think that 6 to 10 lap stint, last 10 laps. So I thought he would move down, to be honest. And, but, we were still racing with traffic, so we had to get under a guy or drive around a guy. So it made it tough to know exactly where we needed to be when we're racing with lappers that are racing with other lappers that are too wide and whatnot. So, but I just kind of committed to the bottom and just, got my wing back enough where I could get it in, enter the corner a little deeper, but I could stay, just, come off lower on exit, and eventually, got to his inside down the straightaway and was able to kind of, get my nose in there enough to where, he couldn't, chop down and kind of take my line away. And, eventually it was able to finish off the pass. And I feel like I was trying to set that up for a while, but like I said, I was wondering if I could ever get inside of him, if I could get that run. And eventually, it took, the last quarter lap for it to happen, and, paid off.
Took 24 and a half laps or whatever it was, and you got there, that is for sure. Buddy, when I look at your season, set aside probably Brad Sweet and David Gravel, you have been so strong, and that sort of thing, yet not getting wins. And you've talked a little bit about it. You're tired of being on the podium. You had 7 podium finishes up before Friday night. How do you balance the frustration of that, but yet knowing that there is every other sprint car driver other than probably those 2 that I mentioned that would trade places with you, knowing you have a good car?
Yeah, no, it's, I'll be honest, sprint car racing is tough, obviously. And it's there's so many good guys that could win, I feel like, on any given night, and a lot of people with really good equipment. So that's first and foremost. And if you can beat those guys, obviously it means you've done something, or, you've done your job right for at least that night. So, but I feel like you said, I've been in positions to win. And I mean, at Volusia, we were leading actually and blew a tire, which was no fault, to just, just something that just happens that you just can't avoid. And so it would have been nice to get that one out of the way even earlier. But then we struggled a little bit in Texas, and then we decided to make a change, and I'm glad we did. We went back to a car that worked for us, and then that kind of started that string of podiums. We were seconds and thirds and running up front, and there'd be times where I'd lead or be close to the lead, and then just couldn't get it done, whether it was honestly just me making a mistake or just getting beat the last 10, 15 laps, but still being right there, but just needed that a little bit more. And I feel like finally we've kind of turned a page, if you will, where we've figured that out and we know what we need to do, because I feel like our speed throughout the whole night, qualifying, we've been qualifying really well, and heat racing and making the dash and all that, which is what you got to do. I've always said if you want to have a chance to win an outlaw race, you gotta at least make the dash. That's one of your better chances to at least help that. But no, we've just been, Dylan, Nate, and Gage have just been working really hard, and we just get along so well. And I feel like that's something you gotta have, is good chemistry. And I just enjoy showing up and doing my job, and they make that fun and they make it worthwhile. And of course, Dennis and Teresa Roth, Mobile One and Toyota, they let us do what we need to do. And like I said, you just got to enjoy what you do, and know that you're going to have some bad nights, but then build on that and hope that you have those good nights and pay off. And hopefully it just turns into consistency where you can turn that into wins.
Buddy, it seems like yesterday we were just talking about you going on tour and seeing these tracks for the first time. But a place like Attica, you were talking about it, the surface, you knew the marbles would change up top, and that track. Obviously, you've had a lot of laps in Northwest Ohio, starting your career there. Do you think that really helped you to score that win? And now that you're getting to know racetracks across the country because you're seeing them for more than the first time?
Yeah, I would say so. So I ran Attica in pretty much all of 2019. And we were really, really good. And, even then I feel like Attica was different than what it's been the last couple of years. And now it seems like this year it's even different than the other times in recent memory. So I think it helped, running a season there, but at the same time, I've always thought, I tried to run, there's a point where in 2022, for example, I ran 8 different types of race cars and ran all over, and then, had great opportunities to go overseas and race this and race that and see these new places. So what I'm saying is I feel like if you force yourself to adapt to these new conditions and constantly put yourself in a position where you have to figure it out right then and there, I feel like that helps you adapt better. And I feel like that's something that I've always tried to do. And I feel like that's kind of helped me, more than anything than just seeing, a place that I've been to more than once. Because even though, like I said, being at Attica, for a year helped me, but I think at the same time, it's still, to me, fairly different than what I remember. So I would say yes and no to that, to be honest.
Buddy, you commented after the race that you feel like right now you feel better, the best you have felt in a sprint car. I think obviously that's a nod to your crew, and you mentioned Gage and how you're working well. Is it also a nod, and you just referenced it, you've ran so many different types of cars. Shoot, you've been on Wing Nation as the USAC midget point leader because you go in and you win a sprint car race here or there. Is also, what's it been like to kind of more focus on that this year as well? That's had to play a part in it too, I would assume.
Yeah, no, I think, I just, like I said, I've always enjoyed, racing sprint cars. That was kind of my first, love in racing was winning sprint cars. And, as a kid in California, I grew up going to the Gold Cup and that was kind of our family trip. And we'd spend the week there when I was just getting into go-karts. And grew up going to sprint car races and stuff. So I'd always loved sprint cars from the get-go. But I mean, also, I've loved just racing in general. I like racing all different types of things, and I feel like that's helped me kind of get to where I am right now. Just, being involved with so many different types of cars and good teams and good people. But yeah, like you said, having a good crew, that wants it as bad as you and that you enjoy being around, for one, I think makes a huge difference. And, I think too, for this year, I got to work with Dylan the last half of last year and work with Gage, obviously last year. And then, Nate's new with us this year, but I worked with Nate at KKM in the midgets for a year. So, they're all familiar faces, and we all, like I said, just get along well and know what we need to do. And, if we don't have a good night, we know how to handle it and move on. And when we have good nights, it makes it just that much better and gratifying for them.
Such a people business. It really, truly is. And it sounds like you've got yourself surrounded by some really, really good folks. You're driving for Dennis and Teresa Roth, so you're working for some good folks for sure. And I love hearing that with you and your crew guys, because it is a grind. And got to have some fun out there as well. Buddy, got to be fun to go back to Victory Lane, and I'm sure we won't wait this long to see you in Victory Lane again. We wish you the best this weekend, another Ohio weekend coming up, and on throughout the season. But thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yes, absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys having me on, and hopefully this isn't the only time I'm on this year with you guys.
We'll dial you up, that's for sure. Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
There we go, Buddy Kofoid joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. The High Limit Racing is headed to Pennsylvania. It is Bob Weichert week, and one of the drivers that's had some success at the Speed Palace, a two-time winner of the Weichert Memorial, Lucas Wolfe. He joins us next.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's get right back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. A man who picked up the win, his 24th career win at Williams Grove on Friday night. Lucas Wolfe joins us. Hello, Lucas. How are you?
Hi. How's it going?
We are fantastic. Has to be good to knock that first win out of the season and to get a big one on Friday night up at Williams Grove. Has to feel really, really good for you to check that one off this year.
Oh yes, for sure. Winning any sprint car race is difficult these days, or any race in general, I would say. But to get a win at Williams Grove is always an important benchmark for the season. And from growing up and being around here, there's not too many places that hold that kind of the history and how special it is to win and run well there. So a good boost for the team, a good boost for me, and hopefully more to come.
No doubt about it, especially rolling into this weekend. But I want to chat about the race. Obviously, there was rain in the area, so they ended up shortening the race. Does that play differently in your mind than when you first put that helmet on, when they tell you, hey, we're going to shorten this race up because rain's in the area?
Well, so we ran the full 25-lap distance. What we had was a yellow on lap 2 for just a small amount of rain, where we actually came in the pits and got out of the car. And so a little bit of an unusual circumstance that way. And really, by the time that we got out and just topped off the fuel, the rain had stopped, and it was clear enough to get back in and go again. There wasn't an incredible amount of moisture put down that caused any kind of a problem, but it did start a little bit of the cycle as the track, as we got going again, the track, it gets kind of rolling a lot of dust off the bottom. So the track was not a typical kind of feature type of track, but it was good enough for me on that particular occasion.
Lucas, you said a phrase in your first answer that really just made me want to pick your brain a little bit because you've been on the road, you've been a posse guy, you've been a World of Outlaw guy, you've been over all over the planet as far as sprint car racing goes. You mentioned how hard it is to win in sprint car racing. Can you even put into terms the depth, the level of competition right now in 410 sprint car racing?
Well, it certainly is just that. I think it's incredibly deep. There's been an increase in guys that have come from some other forms of racing, and some non-wing guys that have moved into wing racing now that are incredibly competitive among some of the best, really. Plus, a lot of the guys that have come, I think, probably having two national, full-blown national series probably amps up the level of competition some more. Here locally in PA, we go through phases from time to time where we're pretty strong as far as the depth of teams, and then sometimes they go and some leave to travel or come and go, just like as anything is a little bit variable. But the depth of the field that I think any race that I'm either at or watch or pay attention to, I think is probably never been higher than that. You can certainly see some B mains that are incredibly tough at any show throughout the country. So, I mean, in a lot of ways, those are good things for showing the strength of the teams and the overall infrastructure of racing. But it's something where you still see the guys that are truly doing things right, and strong teams and strong drivers that are consistently racing towards the top five. So I think it's still a good testament to the level of competition the whole way through the field. But the best of the best still seem to make it happen and make it count when they have the chance.
It's so true. And I referenced that at the beginning of our show that I'm afraid that the posse is in a down year this year. And I'm nervous about the Weichert Memorial. But Lucas, you have two previous Weichert Memorial wins. Do you remember Bob as a kid with your dad racing? Does your dad, Randy, have any good stories with Bob Weichert?
Yeah, so my dad does have a lot of stories about the Bob and the whole family, the amount of time that he spent around there and growing up and racing his own career. I didn't really overlap. My racing career did not really overlap with the car when they were campaigning it. We run a few different things. I had done a tribute car when I was really young. Dick Hench, Todd's family member, and Rick Hench, obviously we were close with. Dick helped me a lot when I was younger before he unfortunately passed. So there's a few ties to them in the area, but certainly in the last, it seems like at least 10 years or so, the Weichert family's had an incredible impact here locally, especially in terms of at Port Royal and helping a few different cars out over time. So it's become or it's been built into an event that is probably looked forward to as much as any here locally in PA, and it's a great facility. They've done a really good job with the event. I know you guys have been a part of really boosting the Weichert weekend over the years, and it's one that you look forward to. It's kind of the first really big Pennsylvania type show outside of the usual Outlaw swing in May. So it's one you look forward to, and glad it's time for it.
How do you you raced up there on Saturday night? How do you assess where you're at with Port Royal and what you need to do to cash a big check Sunday night?
I'm having a little bit of struggles at the moment, having the right pace for the feature kind of time of the night. I've had a few decent performances there earlier in the year when we kind of had the middle afternoon starts where it was a little bit slicker and slower. The last couple features we've run have been weather affected a little bit and probably even marginal on whether or not we were even going to get them in with forecasts. So the tracks were significantly faster than what you typically see at Port Royal. So there is some unknowns, I would say, but probably like along the lines of most any sprint car race, the beauty of it is every night is completely independent. We run a different format, a unique format for the Weichert weekend to kind of shake things up a little bit potentially, but you can always find a way to have good speed do a couple things right and find yourself in a good position. And if we can line all that stuff up, I hope we could challenge to run well.
Lucas, you mentioned that, and I kind of want to chat about it because it even confuses me at times and I forget about it. The format for the white guard is much different. Do you keep that in the back of your mind when you roll into that, just because it is so different than what a typical show is run like?
I think the current, for the most part, unless you're in a format that kind of locks you into a redraw or a dash by being the fastest qualifier, like we run that a lot here in Pennsylvania, kind of like the Speed Week format now, which has become the most popular kind of time trial show format. We have the high limit run, a similar one. So if you're in the spot of being the fastest qualifier, you have to do a little bit of thought, because all you really have to do is be in a transfer position. Your result really doesn't much matter, and you're already in the redraw. Pretty much every other format or any other position outside of that fastest qualifier, you benefit from moving forward. All the heat races affect how the lineups are. If you're not in the dash or a redraw, if it's to get qualified, a lot of times you have to be the winner of the heat. So really, all formats now lend themselves to advancing as a significant benefit for the rest of the night, which was not always the case. So the same type of mentality would apply, I guess, is my best answer to this format this weekend, or almost any other circumstance that you're racing in. You do advance in heat race or at any time of the night. Better performance results in a better starting position ultimately for the feature. So those are I believe that's the right mentality to have for competitors and ultimately for fans alike, because sometimes the super complicated formats can get confusing, I believe, to follow. I mean, I know they are for me. Yeah. And I think there's a little bit of a disconnect there when fans are watching or attending the event and wonder how they came up with the lineup that they did.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's times where I'm just kind of like, I start to get an explanation, and then my eyes gloss over, and it's like, just tell me where to start, and I'll trust y'all to figure that out. Final question for you here, Lucas. You have such a neat brand that you're working there yourself, the beer wagon car, the old Milwaukee colors. How are beer sales? How are things on the sponsorship, on the marketing front for you as you continue on with all these relationships you've had for the last number of years?
Yeah, incredibly fortunate to continue the partnership with Old Milwaukee here into our second season. It's been a good experience thus far. We have a lot of things that we're working on, attempting to drive sales, to bring more awareness, to get out to some more races. There's a lot of unique kind of stuff coming, I think, soon. We're doing a lot of extra media stuff, a lot of video work, more and more of that to come over the short term and ultimately the long term. So it's been a great opportunity to represent and partner with Old Milwaukee. It's something that I think is a bit of a throwback, certainly for the sprint car racing community, to the 80s. It's been a well received, and I'm fortunate to be in that position.
I said final question, but I've got one more because you led me. It's your fault. You led it to me. You say videos, cameras, the social media, the push, all of this. How do you balance that on a night at the racetrack? Because it's a whole lot different than you just rolling in there now. And if you're going to be doing some video work and stuff like that and media work, how do you balance all of that, Lucas?
So at the moment, I have a pretty strong team around me to handle and facilitate a majority of that. One of the perks of partnering with Old Milwaukee is that it comes with some extra personnel and people in place that are professionals in their respective fields that allow me to excel or attempt in what I do, and likewise for them. So it is and it continues to be, and I guess the forecast would be even more so, the driver of almost all interest from commercial and marketing partnerships. And I think the video aspect of it seems to be the strongest trend at the moment. I think people like to see a little bit more of a behind the scenes and in-depth type of content above the generic just stills and text words. So it's a little bit new to me. I've been educated quite a bit on it here in the short time so far this season, and the guys that are working on it have a lot of pretty cool content together. It does certainly take a lot of time to get it all processed, and we have a lot of volume here in the sprint car racing world because we race so much. There's so many events. We've done a few kind of meet and greets at local distributors and have some more planned with wholesalers and other special events throughout. So all of that stuff will be included. So more stuff gets rolled out every time. So I encourage people to keep up with it.
Fun stuff, that is for sure. Fun stuff. It is a changing world. And this is from an old radio guy living in a television world. It's learning all kinds of stuff every day. Lucas, we appreciate the time. We wish you well this weekend at Williams Grove and Port Royal and on throughout. And we'll talk to you down the road. But thanks for joining us this time.
All right, thanks a lot. See ya.
There we go, Lucas Wolfe joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us, more Wing Nation in just a moment.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Wow, what a great, great time to catch up with Lucas Wolfe and Buddy Kofoid. I'm telling you what, I love the insight these guys give us, and man, we've got it from national perspective and local perspective. Ashley, it's pretty cool.
It is. And, those two guys, I feel like we're getting old, Steve. I feel like we've watched these kids grow up, Like, it's so cool to see kind of how they've come through their career and where they're going.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I joked around there about the old radio guy doing it. I mean, many of you are watching us on YouTube, and all of this. And there's times where it's like, Cracker, can we do this? And I think about it, or I talk to some other people who do social media. Hey, can we do that? And we do that. And then I'm like, nah, you know what? I just think I'd rather sit on my couch and watch it all unfold. I think the old guy and the vision is you want to do all of this stuff, but I also enjoy time at home or just time at the racetrack. I just let me sit in the stands, drink my beer, and watch the sprint cars go around in circles. I don't want to be doing all of this stuff. It is so cool. We're so fortunate. We live in a really good time of sprint car racing. It really, truly is. And one of the aspects of it is the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, Knoxville, Iowa. Birthday calendars, how we focus in on that. Joe James has a birthday on Thursday. Sunday, Stevie Smith, Jack Gunn, Casey Luna, Jimmy Sills, Dick Bergeron has birthday on Monday. But tomorrow would have been the birthday of Gus Schrader. Now, before we even get into Gus, Ashley, when you came on before we went on the air, you're hanging out with Ken Schrader a little bit today. Are you really?
I was, yes. He was here at the shop. He's got a little play date at the Speed Palace this evening for his federated folks. So I was spending the morning with Mr. Schrader.
Man, oh man, you're living right when you're hanging with Ken Schrader. My gosh, right. I'm telling you what. Were there any stories told?
Never.
Not
with Ken Schrader.
Yes, exactly. Not that I'm aware that there are any Ken, but today's focus for our birthday calendar is tomorrow would have been the birthday of Gus Schrader. He is part of the inaugural class. And when you're part of the inaugural class, that means you've done something pretty special. He was born in 1895 in Newell, Iowa. And Ashley, he had quite an interesting history and a lot of success along the way.
Yes, dirt tracks and board tracks. I need to dig more into what board tracks are, Steve.
Oh, you have got to dig into board tracks. You think you want to talk about daredevils. I am telling you, the board track, you can even go on YouTube, there's board track videos, and they'll scare you to death. I mean, they're old black and white videos. I've read a lot. The National Speedway Directory had a whole segment, Alan Brown's book had a whole segment on the board tracks. And man, I'm telling you what, that was an interesting era. the old phrase where men were men, I am telling you what, that is an era not for the faint of heart. And then lightning would strike and the track would burn down. Go figure. You know, I mean, that's how that would work. His success, Gus Schrader's success, IMCA sprint car champion, 1933 to 1937, 1939 and 1941. And Ashley, how about this? We talked to Lucas Wolfe about marketing and partnerships. Gus Schrader had a $1,000 a year sponsor from Montgomery Wards. Isn't that cool?
He probably didn't have the camera crew following him around, though, did he? and social media people and all the things, right?
Yeah, Gus Schrader on Twitter. I don't think Gus Schrader ever spent any time on Twitter or X, as it's now known. The dynamic, Gus Schrader, the final few years of his life is the dynamic of racing, okay? And this is why it's so important that we have the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa, because we talk about this sport not being for the faint of heart, and we talk about some of the tragic past of this sport. We'll go with the upside of it. 1939, he married his wife Eunice. He met her. She was a nurse in a hospital he was in after a sprint car crash. So you wreck your car, you hurt yourself, but you come out of the hospital with a fiance. Now, that is so that is cool. Fast forward just 2 short years, 1941, he has the IMCA title wrapped up. Him and Eunice purchased a farm. He was going to retire from sprint car racing, work the farm, and live the rest of his life. And unfortunately, the season finale for IMCA, October 22nd, 1941, Shreveport, Louisiana State Fairgrounds, crashed and died from injuries in a wreck. This is why our Hall of Fame is so important, because Gus Schrader was not able to, he was born in 85, was not even able to live long enough so that we had old school videos of him to tell the stories, but we have the stories at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Just a tragic ending to amazing career, but actually that's why the Hall of Fame is so important, because all stories don't end. They all don't have a happy ending as far as that goes.
They don't. And, it's our history, right? It's the roots that our sport was founded on. So it's important to keep that, in our minds and in the forefront to know where we came from to get to where we are today.
Yes, they have the sprint car raffle coming up, a 410 sprint car with an Al Parker racing engine. You can take the cash option of $50,000, 10 tickets for $25, or you can just become a member. Just become a member. Go to sprintcarhof.com. That's www.sprintcarhof.com. Ashley, you're not going to be there, but the headliner is in your hometown, the Bob Weichert Memorial High Limit Racing, Saturday and Sunday night.
Yes, Saturday is the Fallen Heroes Championship. And then, of course, Sunday is the Weichert Memorial for $75,000. So cool. It's going to be huge. Obviously, the Weicherts are an incredible family, as you know, Steve.
Yeah.
Working with them, the vision that they have for this race, and like we said, keeping the history alive. It's, remembering Bob Weichert and what he did for sprint car racing.
Yeah, real quick, a little of the history of this race. It started in 2003. Greg Hodnett, a 6-time winner of this race. 2-time winners, Fred Raymer, Lance DeWeese, Lucas Wolfe, who we talked to, and Anthony Macri, who's won the last 2. Other winners of the Weichert Memorial, Todd Schaefer, Jeff Shepard, Stevie Smith, Doug Esch, Cody Dara, Danny Dietrich, Logan Wagner, and some guy named Kyle Larson, who's got a little going on this weekend. He should throw the Weichert in if he really wants to do something, try to figure out how to do that. But Ashley, the winners list of this race is really, really a big part of Central Pennsylvania sprint car history.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I mean, obviously at the top with Greg Hodnett, obviously Hodnett's no longer with us, but he set a marquee for what he's done with his career, and to be no one even be close to him at 6. The next is 2 with Fred Raymer and Lance DeWeese, just moguls of our sport, right?
Yeah. When you're 3 times what Fred Raymer and Lance DeWeese has, You know, I mean, and that's where Greg Hodnett was at Port Royal. Man, there were times watching him go around Port Royal is like, who is this guy, and who are the other guys out on the racetrack? He just so smooth, so fast. So I mean, he was the full package. So great stuff. It's going to be a great weekend up at the Weikert Memorial. If you're in Central Pennsylvania, go to the racetrack. Just go to the racetrack. You know, my mantra this year is clubbing everybody over the head to go to the racetrack. Go to the Speed Palace this weekend. You're gonna have a good time.
And it's an event, right? Like, I know about this a lot. You go to the races every single weekend. It's what you do, but this is not your typical race. This is an absolute an event that a race happens at. And this year it's paying 75 large, so it's going to be a good one.
Yes, indeed. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, Friday and Saturday night, Atomic Speedway. That's going to be fun. And on Monday, they're at Fremont Speedway for the Rick Ferkel tribute race. I love this. We're going to honor another one of our greats, Rick Ferkel. Friday night, Williams Grove, the John Trone tribute race, $10,039 to win. Trone, of course, fields the number 39 car. And Ashley, I know we love talking to you, and I know one thing you love is fair races. We always think of fairs in the fall, but on the other side of the country, Silver Dollar Speedway on Sunday has their fair race, folks. We want to see fair food. We want to see Ferris wheels and sprint cars on our social media. Those of you out at Silver Dollar, Fair Week at Silver Dollar Speedway, that is really, really cool.
Yeah, there's nothing better than sprint cars, fair food, and a fair, a county fair. I love it.
That is so good, so good. And we can't get out without mentioning, we did mention just a second ago, that guy Kyle Larson will have all of our attention as well over the course of the weekend, like he did this past weekend. Going to start 5th in the Indianapolis 500. The Indianapolis 500, the Coca-Cola 600 double. Selfishly, I'm the track announcer at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it would be absolutely amazing to bring an Indy 500 winner into that racetrack on a helicopter as a track announcer. There may be something moved down the cool moments, but even a good run at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and seeing him, the return he got at North Wilkesboro, Ashley, was insane. I can't imagine what it's going to be in Charlotte. Literally, you thought you were watching, the Queen or the Pope or Elvis or somebody. They're tracking helicopters, they're tracking planes. And when that golf cart came into that speedway, oh my gosh, it was wild. It was really cool. Fun stuff.
No doubt about it. And, it's cool. We know that Kyle Larson is incredible to begin with, and what he's done. But in qualifying, when he hit P1 and when the top 12, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Who would have guessed?
No. Good stuff. It's going to be a fun weekend. It is a big weekend, that is for sure. Also, remember, it's Memorial Day weekend. So at some point, I love that Port does the Fallen Heroes tribute on Saturday night. At some point, just take a few minutes and kind of ponder the reason for the weekend and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice as well. We do appreciate Buddy Kofoid joining us, and we do appreciate Lucas Wolfe joining us as well. She's Ashley Stremme. I'm Steve Post. More important, though, than all of that, thank you for joining us this time on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.